Morning to you wherever you are in the world. I don't know what the date is because I've turned my dating time off. I know it's a Wednesday. It's a midweek meerkat moment for me. That mainly means to look back at what happened the last couple of days and where we're kind of going. I've spent probably about 12 hours in total on constructing this and put it together because I think it's going to be valuable now, but also in the future, especially once Review Hunt is launched, that YouTubers and content creators are going to be looking for other platforms, decentralized platforms, and I think Review Hunt can pick up a bunch of that stuff. All right, so 10 things that YouTuber influencers need to know about the upcoming review.hunt.town dApp. So I'm going to be working on this post. I'm going to change this post over time because now we have the wonderful feature of being able to edit our posts on the Steem blockchain. Believe it or not, that was a thing that you couldn't do. They were locked after 7 days and that was it. We had an update which fixed that and allowed us to go in and update it. So this is probably going to be broken down into 10 sections, obviously, seeing as it's 10 things. And mainly from a all-round perspective of where a YouTuber might be today, some of the thought processes that are going through their mind, and why you really need to think about tokenomics and tokenizing your content. So I'm going to also put little jump cuts on YouTube, so like a little header display and then the time, and so you can jump through to it on YouTube. I'm putting this on d.tube as well, which is the decentralized front end that you can get. I talk about that a little bit in these 10 things. I'm kind of excited to show you where this can go to actually. All right, so let's just turn this off. Right, so let's scroll down. Number one, like I say, I've broken it down into sections. The idea behind this is I'm trying to get people to understand how the Steem blockchain works in terms of the inflation, about owning your own brand, creating your own front end, just basically taking that niche and kind of running your own decentralized platform rather than centralized platforms, relying on centralized platforms like YouTube. The first thing is time to replace your addiction to Adsense. So one of the biggest issues I find with Adsense is obviously the payout is every 30 days. I've struggled with Adsense because on YouTube they made a new rule that you have to have 1,000 subscribers and you have to have X amount of minutes. I'm like at the 800 followers point, and I get that my content isn't flashy, all bells and whistles with incredibly nice editing. I get that. Even though I have been on the platform like 11 years, but it really was a kick in the gut when they said, oh, you know, if you haven't got this many subscribers, then you can't get any AdSense. So some of my WordPress sites, they have AdSense on them, but to be honest, who likes ads? I don't like ads on the sidebar, but anything to generate a little bit of residual income. I really like that idea of having stuff running in the background that brings just little bits of money in that can pay for my web hosting and build like that. So it's really time to replace it. The addiction, the addiction that we have set on this kind of, you know, big corporation like Google that owns YouTube now, has for many years, and it's kind of, they can change the algorithm and the traffic to your content at any one time. If you're talking about a particular subject that they deem a content strike worthy, then they can do it at the drop of a hat. And we are seeing lots more platforms appearing for people who have been deplatformed, or if you want to talk out about a certain thing, people are affecting the money, affecting the AdSense payout. Now, if you don't know about this, which you should do, AdSense is the advertising module, if you like, of Google, where advertisers pay a certain amount to appear on your videos as a pre-roll or post-roll, somewhere at the beginning, somewhere in the middle, somewhere at the end. And they pay for that feature to happen on very popular channels. So you might see something like Dragon's Den in the UK, suddenly you'll see Shark Tank stuff playing on top of it. So I think we have an issue for existing YouTube content creators, been around for 2 or 3 years, is that they're kind of addicted to AdSense. It's their income stream, it's their revenue, it's their career, as they put it, which I find bizarre to call it a career when somebody else is in control of how you make the money and when you make the money. And I've seen a lot of people getting content striked all the time, either for the most ridiculous reasons or just seeing their traffic drop off. So at some point, we need to get people off this addiction of AdSense. One of the things that I will say about using the Steem blockchain is that normally payouts from your posts are every 7 days. You can send Steem around to another Steemian, which is free of charge, and that happens in 3 seconds. So I want you to get through in your head that you become less like addicted to the idea of like, okay, I have my bills or my money or my income comes in every 30 days. There's a massive reduction there, and also there's so much usability with the Steem token than actually fiat. You're probably just converting that to pay rent, bills, buy more equipment. What I want to try and prove to you in these 10 segments is that by investing in this platform with its inflation, no longer will you have to just be using that Adsense money to upgrade your gear, for instance, every year, or relying on hoping that the YouTube algorithm is going to be kind to you. All right, next up, number 2, your digital income is changing rapidly. I kind of just covered it in what I'm saying, but more people are coming online all the time. There is definitely a push to incentivize certain kinds of content out there, and that might not be the content you've been creating or want to create, but you've had to toe the line because that's what YouTube says, and you want to be able to do your own stuff, but you also want to be able to be paid for it. So I see for a lot of content creators that their ability to create a piece of work online and be paid for it, so far we've been stuck in this culture of like sucking at the Google teat to get AdSense, and I'm about to show you that there is another way, and Review Hunt is going to be a big part of that. And they've built a whole pipeline of how it's going to work in terms of brands being able to buy a token, the Hunt token, which is an Ethereum ERC20 token, to be able to buy credits, if you like, in this system, to then be able to set quests for potential advocates, influencers to come in, do those quests, get paid in the Hunt token, and if you want, you can convert that into fiat. I suggest like sitting on it for 6 months or 12 months and then see the inflation on it go up. Obviously today the crypto markets are all over the place because they're super volatile. That's always the way with anything tsunami edge, but the difference is you could have been working 3 or 4 years on YouTube, and then all of a sudden like your channel is either shut down, or you've been content striked, or you've got used to this income stream coming in and you don't really have any alternatives. I want you to think about being able to diversify that portfolio today. And I want you to think that a blockchain is part of that, especially the Steem blockchain, especially the Hunt token. Steem Hunt's been around for years, had over 20,000 people like submitting stuff on there. Review Hunt is coming out next, which anytime in the next like week, 2 weeks. After that is Idea Hunt, which is if you've ever wanted to build your own product, that's going to be the crowdfunding platform to do that, with tokenomics integrated and a blockchain integrated on the back of it, Steem blockchain. Number 3, time is now to build out your crypto portfolio. The time is always now, right? Like the majority of the people that I see on YouTube, either be it streamers, gamers, people who are making content around unboxings, you know, like slime, they're very, very focused, hyper niche on a particular area. And what concerns me a lot about that is that they're relying on Google, they're relying on AdSense to bring them their income. They're hoping that with more views, more growth, that they're just going to generate more money. At some point, that whole algorithm is going to change. They're going to tighten down the hatches. It's going to be a certain kind of content that they want for the platform, that they designate is safe for their advertisers, and that is rapidly going to happen. Now, a lot of people will probably adapt, and a lot of those communities might be flexible with that, but also there's going to be a lot of communities that are like, you've completely changed, all you care about is the money now, you're not honest anymore, you're not transparent anymore. And I think we're going to see at some point an exodus from channels like YouTube to other places. And I think a lot of these big streamers are going to set up their own independent companies. You can see from some of the stuff that's happened with the big YouTubers that they've gone off to make their own Shopify site, their own t-shirt store. They're making their own kind of physical material products in the real world to offset the fact if any of these content strike things happen. And at some point they're going to realize that they can also add a tokenomics element to it, and so they can incentivize their community to actually get paid in a token for engagement. YouTube is not one of the best places for chat, community chat in the chat comments, so I'm excited to see how that kind of pans out if they take on board like a blockchain, like Steem, with Steem engine, and build a like condenser front end. Number 4, decentralized advocacy will be faster, easier on payout and investing. So I've kind of covered on number 1 of this, if you want to go back, about the payout from 30 days in Adsense to like 7 days. Now, we shouldn't just think of Steem blockchain and Hunt tokens as payout. Actually, the more powerful component that I've come to learn over the last year is that there is an inflationary component to the Steem blockchain. We're starting to see lots of little mini exchanges pop up. I would say Steem engine is definitely one of those with their tokens, that lots of different tokens for lots of different communities and front ends, from investing to reggae to, there's all kinds of different communities out there, and they've all got their own token, and they all incentivize you to take part in the community by rewarding you with this token. Now, these tokens can be traded for other tokens, and eventually, as more people come on board, because more people will flock to these little niche communities because they'll feel invested in that community, because their time and attention is being tokenized, compared to a centralized platform that doesn't pay you anything to be a commenter on that platform, from Twitter, Facebook, Pinterest, YouTube. None of those pay you as a commenter for your engagement. Yes, you're creating traffic for the content creator, but again, if that's content struck, then they don't get anything from it either. So yes, the payout thing is better if you're coming from a background of, oh, YouTube pays me every 30 days with AdSense, I get a check, that's my career. That's not sustainable. If there's one thing I've learned on the Steem blockchain the last year, is it's not sustainable to just keep on taking money out of this system. There's a predetermined, it's a bit like mining in the actual earth for gold and minerals. At some point you're gonna have to like go somewhere else and mine somewhere else, and you can see what we've done to the planet in the last 50 years just doing that, not being considerate of taking certain size fish out of the ocean for them to actually be able to repopulate again. At some point we have to realize that we have to keep the value in the system to let it flourish and let it increase. And I guess there is a little bit of speculation in that. Right now, the price of Steem is dropped down on CoinMarketCap to like 81st position. It's like 22 cents, from way up from like $7 a year or so ago. But then the whole volatile crypto markets is there. We're kind of creating a revolution and changing the way that money and value is stored for human-to-human transactions in the world. And the governments of the world don't like that, because you're stepping into their wheelhouse, and they don't like middlemen in their wheelhouses. That's what they kind of see crypto as. The people all say, well, it's just this thing made up from thin air. Well, actually, it's a little bit more structured than something that, say, the Fed would print. Mainly because it has a mathematical calculation behind it to say that something happened at a certain time, and the value comes from people needing to be able to have the ability to move that value around. And cryptocurrency is incredibly good at doing that. If there's one thing I've learned from cryptocurrency, is time management, financial management, and investing. And although I'm not the best investor in the world, I am learning every single day. And I think that's a major component for a sustained brand and channel. And a lot of the YouTubers don't have that, because the centralized platform owns your ass on that. Whereas with the blockchain, especially with Steem, especially now more than ever, is you can build your own front end. You can build your own YouTube, make it using the d.tube platform. You can skin your own front end. You can style it whatever way you want if you put the work into it. And I think a bunch of big streamers, once they start doing this, I think a lot of streamers will do it. A lot of gamers would love to have their own community front end website, incentivized with a token that can be traded. You know, trading from one community to another community. Imagine being able to put X amount of tokens on a game. You know, if you win this game, then you get X amount of tokens. Not just a ranked play, but a tokenized ranked play. That's huge to me. All right, number 5, your review hunt profile can make you platform agnostic in time. So one of the things that I think is very, very important for brands today, online digital brands, is that they need to know that if they pay you money as an influencer or as a brand advocate, that your work, your video, your audience outreach is going to have an effect on their bottom line. That the return on investment of paying you money for spending time making a quality video about their brand, service, whatever it may be, is going to affect their bottom line. They're going to get sales. They're going to get people buying the camera, or they might just be doing the strategy for awareness. They just want people to be looking at the Sony a6 400 right now over a competing product. They want the conversation to be about that, in the hope, speculation again, that people will buy the product. So what I'm saying to you is that right now, if I want to know about you as an influencer, I have to go digging through your YouTube channel, look at your views, run some stats to see how well those things performed. And I actually don't know how well those things performed for the brand, because none of that information normally is public. It's normally in a private data silo somewhere. So what I'm saying to you is that there is a real opportunity for a brand advocate, YouTuber, influencer to build out a profile on Review Hunt of the work that you've done for brands that are on that platform. So right now we have over 100 plus marketing companies, or companies that are on there looking for marketing spend. They're spending, there's like $700,000 of marketing spend there. They're going to run quests that you take part in, and then there'll be a payout in Hunt tokens, and those Hunt tokens have a value on the Daybit exchange, which is a South Korean exchange. And over time, that Hunt token should proliferate to other exchanges around the world as it's traded. I don't know of any other decentralized brand advocacy platform in the world. So this is like got massively first mover advantage. I'm not trying to spin this or blow smoke up your ass. At the end of the day, I've been a mod on this platform with these coders for the last 12 months. And every time they said they're going to deliver, they've delivered. So this is the reason why I'm putting these 10 steps together, because I want other YouTubers or content creators to come in and realize the potential of this platform. Number 6, YouTube will never help you crowdfund your product dreams. YouTube, I'm sure, takes care of its high-level YouTubers in terms of, you know, their marketing department, their PR department. They get them in to do little videos because, you know, they want the association. But I don't think anything at YouTube will ever, they will never have a fund for funding you to do a kind of crowdfunding. I just don't see that happening. If you want to build a product today, you might use your YouTube to tell your community about it, and then run it on Kickstarter and raise money through Kickstarter. And then obviously once you've built the product, you can talk about it through your channels. Now, one of the amazing parts of Steem Hunt is that it's got a 3-part process, or 3 verticals to their whole kind of roadmap. So you have Steem Hunt, which has been up and running a year. You've got Review Hunt, which is launching anytime soon, hopefully by the time you watch this. And we've got Idea Hunt, which is going to be a Kickstarter to raise money, but using those Hunt tokens that you either acquired in Steem Hunt or Review Hunt. So you can see how this kind of connects together as a 360 approach, right? So on Idea, so for instance, you might want to build, let's say, a carbon fiber tripod, right, for video shooting. So what would you do? You would raise Hunt tokens. You would raise money from people in the community who have Hunt because they want your product. So then you have all this Hunt token that you can kind of convert to fiat. People want your product. They want to buy your product. So then you can go and develop it, build it. You could document it and storytell it and put that onto d.tube or any of these video platforms that also give you an upvote or a payout. So again, you're keeping the value in that system. And then all of those people get the product, and then you can run a quest paying those Hunt tokens that you acquired back in, some of those Hunt tokens you acquired back into the system, to run a quest to 100 of those people of what you think about the product. Instantly, you have social media content for the next 6 months or 12 months and build a strategic campaign around it. So you could be putting videos out every day, every week, storytelling different people around the world who are using your carbon fiber tripod to do video content for brands, agencies, etc. And that creates that speculation, that attention economy, as people are like, this tripod looks pretty good. I'm going, you know, this person uses it. I trust them. I love their content. I'm going to buy it. Right? That's kind of how I see it in my brain. All right, what else? Number 7, help in onboarding your favorite brands here. So you have an opportunity to bring your favorite brands into this ecosystem. Working with a brand is very, very interesting in 2019. Normally what a brand does is they go to a digital agency and say, we need to reach out to X amount of people in the community. We don't know who they are. You know who they are, or you can find them for us. We will pay you millions of dollars. You create our strategic social media campaign, work with these advocates and these influencers to build up our messaging, and then the brand jumps in, cherry picks from all of that stuff and makes their own content with an outside company normally. So you have an opportunity here to bring over those brands who probably only at the moment work with the top YouTube influencers. Maybe they want to work with more influencers, but the road to entry to those people is difficult because the company has to spend a lot of time doing back and forth relationship management. Now imagine if you remove that part and the relationship management was your token, right? So you have somebody like Canon or Sony, they want to get 100 advocates from a global fan base of people who love Sony. They go on to Review Hunt, they put a task up there. Are you an A6400 owner? We want to know what's your favorite feature about it, yada, yada, yada. They pay out a certain amount of Hunt tokens to be able to pay for those little quests, those tasks. You create the content, you get a payout for it. They get a bunch of content that they can then sync to their strategic social media campaign, which is what they do. They pay money out for this content. So instead of just having like the top 5 YouTubers in their opinion, all of a sudden they have people from all around the world that they can kind of, their diversity of their content going out there is bigger than it's ever been, and probably lower cost with a better return on investment. Because sometimes you just don't know if you're paying this big Instagram influencer $100,000 if you're going to get $100,000 worth of value back on that advertisement. And I would say majority of times they don't. Number 8, build your own YouTube with Steam engine and d.tube. This is the most exciting part of the 10 things probably. Right now, today, you can go to steam-engine.com, which is a fantastic site by Yapapi Matt and Agrod. And what they've done is they built a kind of decentralized token economy, and within that, there's also a bunch of features that you can purchase using their token, which is the ENG token. So you can buy a custom front end to your Steem blockchain experience for your niche community. You can have a token. You can do so much stuff with it. You can even spin up your own version of d.tube, which is the decentralized version of YouTube, if you like, which pays out on the Steem blockchain, but also they're running their own blockchain, the Avalon blockchain, which they're going to do a big airdrop soon. And that could take us in a million different ways. So, you know, there's an opportunity here. If you've been having concerns and worries, or, you know, you get up every day and you're making YouTube content because you're trying to keep up, or you're trying to keep up with adjusting to the algorithm, the way that algorithm works, if you're literally link baiting your titles because you want to tap into other people, at some point that's gonna be so diluted that your traffic is going to go down, your income's going to go down, and then you're going to look up and realize that actually you've just been feeding this machine and the machine's telling you what you should be doing. Whereas this method, you can be building your own front end, your own community with hundreds and thousands of people who normally comment on your YouTube channel on your decentralized condenser front end. Condenser is the code-based name for the Steem blockchain front end, the first one that was made, which is steemit.com, which other people have taken that code base from GitHub and made their own new versions of it. Now you're probably thinking, well, I'm not a coder, so this is not for me. Well, that's true, but what we're starting to see is that the developers in the Steem blockchain community have, you know, open source some of this code. You can download it, you can play with it, you can hire a developer to work with this. The blockchain is very easy to work with in terms of libraries. We've got some great code bases out there. There's a Python one called Beam, B-E-M. So if you know a little bit of Python, you could interface with the Steem blockchain using that. There's sites like Upwork or Fiverr. You know, you can customize. If you are a successful YouTuber and streamer, drop in a couple of grand on setting all this up so that you have a diverse portfolio of current AdSense money coming in and tokenomics on the right hand side. Just means that you're spreading the surface area of issues, right? So if AdSense kind of dies off or the traffic dies off, then you can build up the other side. It doesn't just leave you in limbo and almost feel like a failed experiment after 3 or 4 years of investing all your hard work and time into YouTube. Number 9, the future is tokenomics, your time and investment. You're probably going to have to do a bit more research on this. I was trying to keep this like 10 sections really quick, but tokenomics in their very smallest description that I can think of is, imagine like a piece of art, right, hanging in a gallery somewhere in Paris or New York, right? That piece of art has a certain amount of value to it, mainly because of legacy, mainly because of the name, mainly because of the creator. And you have to pay to go to the museum, you have to pay to get a ticket to walk around the museum. Now we're starting to move into a world where we're virtualizing everything, we're tokenizing everything. Every interaction has a mathematical time block on it, if you like. So we're starting to see galleries and energy companies and all of these different service industries adding a token to their products that you can acquire, you can earn. It's like investing in the stock market or Wall Street. You're buying shares in something. So tokenomics for me is very, very interesting new area that we're moving into, because I truly believe that tokens will be this, you'll end up with just a wallet full of different tokens of the time that you spend in different areas. So if you have a hobby and you're into skateboarding or roller skating, there'll be a community for you out there that allows you to post videos or photos, and you'll earn upvotes or tokens for taking part in those communities. And then at some point you'll be able to swap the value of those tokens into other tokens in different communities as well. And if you want to, and I wouldn't say that this is the best thing to do, you could take those tokens to an exchange and then convert them into your local, fiat, and then buy a new set of roller skates, buy a new skateboard. So there's an interesting ecosystem blowing up around this. And if you haven't looked into it yet, it was something that I've only come across in the last year, but I would heartily suggest that if you are a YouTuber, content creator, putting anything digital on the web, maybe you're an artist that sells on Creative Market, do some research and get yourself a book on tokenomics, because that is where everything is going towards. Finally today, we have 107 companies wanting to spend $700,000. This is crazy to me, right? That our second vertical, Review Hunt, has 100 companies waiting to spend marketing spend on you, on quests, to help them either brand, market, get audience, get awareness of their product. $700,000. That's pretty close to $1 million there for a product, decentralized product, with not necessarily a company behind it, a couple of coders. I think there's actually 3 in the team. There's the front end, the dev, and then the PR and press that have pulled it together. And everything that they said they're going to do, they've delivered on over the last year. That's why I'm still here. That's why I truly believe in this. As a previous brand advocate for Thousand Heads, Nokia, a bunch of other companies over the last 10 years, I can truly say that brand advocacy and influencers are going to be rapidly changed by tokenomics, and there's no other platform out there that is looking at decentralized operations for brand advocates globally. So the time is now, right? Review Hunt is going to be launching anytime soon. Hopefully by the time you watch this, or maybe you find this somewhere by SEO at some point when you're searching around looking to how to build your own tokenized community. Right now, the first month or the first couple of months is going to be crazy, because there's going to be at least 100 companies in there putting quests together that you can take part in. It might just be simple things like signing up, using the app, sharing it on social media, sharing it on Reddit, putting it onto Pinterest, doing a video, put it onto YouTube. I think it's probably going to bring a whole bunch of people in from YouTube and other places that we've never seen before. And for existing agencies, at some point they're going to see this and they're going to want a slice of it. I think the obvious thing for me is CES in Vegas. That happens every January. I would love to go with either a team of 2 or 3 and go around all the little brands there and get them onboarded, build their own little niche communities, fire up some front-end systems and say, here you go, this is your whole community, this is how much it's going to cost, here's the token, give them a pack, give them like a little video pack that they can step through, and they can take complete control end to end, from product manufacture to raising funds for it, to getting reviews and quests about it, to then put it onto Steam Hunt so people are aware of it. It's a 360-degree approach, and there's no middlemen. You control all of the outreach and product design and selling and everything. So all right, hopefully this was useful. I know I went on for quite a while. I don't know how long this is. 30 minutes talking. I'm boiling as well. I'm actually glad I got this done before the weather really hit. I'll probably work on this a little bit more. If you have any questions, I will break down those sections. I put so much text into this blog post that hopefully some of those questions are answered in there. If you're a content producer right now on YouTube, go to review.hunt.town, sign up, dig around on that page, and I think you'll see where I'm going with this. All right, I'll catch up with you soon. Take care. Bye.
Drifting slowly into an empty space where I